Shalom, shalom. Man, welcome back to the Set Apart Man, the channel where we teach men how to live set apart, how to be more obedient to the word of the Most High Yah, and how to navigate this wicked world according to righteousness. You know, man, in today's video, man, I want to talk about a hard truth to stomach, but I want to talk about and have a conversation around why the set apart man must understand why so many women today that are married are out here making videos saying that, man, their husband is a good man. You know, he does everything that a husband is supposed to do, but I want to leave a good man. I want to divorce a good man. I want to break that down and surround it or focus you on the fact that, man, a lot of men are married to wives that have been turned out. You know, wives that are straight freaks. And I'm not talking about the physical freak, the physical turned out. I'm talking about spiritually. Roll that footage.
A creator named Brittany Hall recently posted a TikTok talking about how good men lose good women. She basically described the current dynamic of my relationship, and I don't know what to do with it. I can't get it out of my head. I've talked openly on my page about how my husband and I are currently in a valley in our marriage. We are trying to decide, where do we go from here? We have been together for over 17 years and married for over 13. We got married as babies. We were just 22 years old. And I know a lot of people, especially now in this day and age, are saying you should not be getting married before 26 or 30. So when I say 22, their guests are flabbered. But we felt like we knew what we were doing. We were willing to take that leap of faith. We understood that we would probably have more challenges than most simply because we chose to get married so young. There was so many future versions of ourselves that were going to have to grow and learn and mature. And we were okay with jumping in and taking that risk and vowing to be there for each other through all of those things. However, what we didn't know then that we do know now is that I'm an anxious attachment, he's an avoidant, and apparently those relationships are typically destined to fail.
I was waiting on my ex-husband to be a bad person. I was truly waiting on him to do something so fucked up to me, so bad, that it would justify me ending the marriage. What up, guys? So this is V, and I'm just getting into this whole TikTok thing, social media thing, share my life a little bit, because I know that my journey, my transparency, my authenticity is going to help somebody in a situation that I've overcome. I also said I was going to come out with a book on how to leave a good man. You know, a lot of people that's never been in my situation won't be able to relate. And it's okay, because this message ain't for you. But again, I was waiting on my husband to be a bad person. I stayed with the same person for 21 years, created a family. I was in the relationship 21 years, married 17. And I was married to a good man. I was married to a good guy, but we weren't good together. And being in a relationship where you're just not fulfilled, where you're not happy, but you're with a person that you know is good, and you're hearing the rest of the world talk about how hard it is, how there aren't any good men in the world, it will make you stay longer than you need to. Your soul is yearning for more, right? But you're stuck. And that was me for a very long time. And I had to realize that he doesn't have to be a villain in the story for me to find my happiness. He doesn't have to be a horrible person for me to realize that he is not my person. I did us both a favor. I really did. And this is coming from my heart. And it's hard because who leaves a good man? Who?
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
All praise to the Most High Yahweh Shalom. Thank you for tuning in to another Righteous Ruach Spirit-filled episode. Today I'm back at it in them trenches, handling that kingdom business. You know, man, this is a channel where, man, we can have realistic conversations. We can have hard conversations, tough conversations. And man, it seems like, you know, not only did you see the clip, but you have, you know, Aisha Curry, who is constantly embarrassing, you know, her husband. You know, we're not talking about the fact that he consistently chooses to put seed up in her, knowing that she's got some spiritual dysfunction going on. You know, we're seeing a plethora of these women get on TikTok, YouTube, social media. There's a woman out there saying she's going to write a book on how to leave a good man. I want men today to understand that as set apart men, man, we have to understand that there is very little that we can do in these situations. And it may be something that you're dealing with inside of your marriage. The reason I say that there is very little that we can do is, okay, you can't deliver somebody that doesn't want deliverance. Think about it. You can't deliver them. You know, the transaction, the spiritual healing, the spiritual deliverance won't take root because they're rejecting it. Man, what we're seeing is women that have been turned out. You know, they have been freaked out to the point of no return. And this is the reason why their way of thinking is not forward, it's backwards. You as a man, according to logic, would say, why wouldn't a woman want a good man? Why does she reject things that are good? You know, man, you need to check out my Sabbath day teaching on my other channel, Closer to Yah Ministries, titled Whoredom, where I break this thing down in fullness. But before I go any further with this video, man, I need all brothers out there to smash that like button. You know, hit the like button, help this video get ahead in the algorithm for brothers that need to hear it, because men are out here suffering, dealing with this because they don't have understanding. And secondly, subscribe to the TheSetApartMan YouTube channel. Turn your notifications on, that way you don't miss a single video. And thirdly, drop a comment down below letting me know why you think and why you feel that women that are wives are rejecting men that are actually good, doing what they're supposed to do. All for returning to the streets where everything is bad, where the struggle is. Let me know down in the comments, man. Let's start the dialogue. Okay, man, for these women that are out here that are wives rejecting having a good husband, these are some things that I want to, you know, 99% of the time, it's going to come down to these things right here. For one, you married her and she wasn't pure. She had already been defiled outside of the union of marriage. So what was left in her, you're now dealing with the spirits that are lingering around in her, causing her way of thinking not to be forward, but causing her to be backwards. She wasn't a virgin. She had on all white. She said she was pure, but spiritually and sexually, she had been, another man had went up inside of her. And the more when you think about body count outside of marriage, she's been defiled. And this is why a man, when he goes inside of a woman, a piece of his DNA is left inside of her. There is a spiritual transaction that goes amongst whores and whoremongers and whores. Society promoted a lot of these women to give their thought pocket away before marriage. Starts off as early as high school, when this spiritual condition, when rebellion towards the father. A father will notice a difference when his daughter is a virgin. She'll be obedient. She'll be virtuous. She'll have good character that others should follow. And the minute one of these little boys goes inside of her and the father don't know it, he has to deal with the spiritual condition of she starts feeling herself. She starts talking out the side of her neck. Husbands have to deal with that same thing, and it's worse. Secondly, if she was a virgin or if she was defiled, the women that she entertains are spiritually turning her out. If she has friends that aren't Yah-fearing and commandment-keeping, what do you think the friends that she has are doing? Man, they're influencing her spiritually, constantly spitting snake venom in her ear, saying, you need to be out in these streets with me, girls night, ladies night, pulling her away from her domestic duty as a Proverbs 31. They're pulling her back to the streets. They're influencing her decision. And she starts to think, man, this grass that's green inside my relationship, this grass that's good, this good man, this good husband that I've got, they start to see it as brown. And this is the saying, they think the grass is greener on the other side, and then they get out there and fall flat on their face. Man, you got to understand, okay, she may have some rebellious friends that are constantly influencing her decision-making process. You know, their spirits of them living in fornication because they don't want a husband. You know, they want to be out there giving their thought pocket away. Man, there's a transfer. Every time they communicate and be hee-heeing and ha-haing, this is what you got to deal with. You got to think about it. When we see the Aisha Currys, I said it before, I've called it the Aisha Curry syndrome. You know, where they reject a good man. And the difference between a good man versus a set-apart man, the set-apart man has understanding. A good man will try to figure out, why is she doing this? A set-apart man understands, man, I can't help her unless she wants help. If she don't want deliverance, man, it's good as done. You know, you're trying to put something in her spiritually, like a set-apart man that has the Ruach HaKodesh, that lays hands on her. Man, she's rejecting that. Why? Her way of thinking is not forward, it's backwards. You're running towards the Most High Yah. She's running away from Yah. It starts with a spiritual condition. This is the reason why we're seeing so many of these women that say, man, I have a good husband. I mean, he is so good. He's a good father. He's a good provider. He's a good protector. Man, he genuinely loves me, but I'm not happy with that. I don't want that. That's the reason why. You got women out there on the opposite that have experienced deliverance, have lived a life of whoredom, and now they can't find a good man. And you got women out here getting rid of it. Why is that? See, the set-apart man knows, hey, man, this is a sinking ship. And this is the reality of it. Man, when your woman has been spiritually turned out, I want you to think, let your imagination run to what goes on. You see some of these interviews where these sex workers that was at Diddy parties talk about what goes on. I want you to think about spiritually that same thing happening to your woman, and it happening well before you married her. You're just seeing the lingering side effects of it. She's a freak, man. She's been turned out. Her thirst for lawlessness, you have to think, okay, let me break this down. Husbands, you know, if you have a wife that has been turned out prior to marriage, never been in marriage, and here you come as a good guy offering righteousness, offering the things that you're supposed to do as a man, you know, and she's been turned out, this is the reason why she's uncooperative. This is the reason why she's not agreeable. This is the reason why she's not as feminine as you think she should be. This is the reason why she's not the type of wife, the type of mother you want her to be. She's been turned out spiritually. What's operating in her is a spiritually transmitted disease. She got somewhere else she picked up from entertaining other spirits, other ruachs. And you're having to deal with it. You know, medication, counseling, all of this stuff is not going to fix it. She'll go to therapy. It's not going to fix it. She'll get to a point where the therapist is going to tell her something that's truthful and she's going to reject it, and then she's going to turn on the therapist. You're not going to be able to, therapy ain't going to fix this spiritual condition. She rejects truth. You know, she rejects covenant. And we're seeing that. We're seeing women reject marriage to be out on the streets. And then what do? 6 months later, they're on their social media, they're on their TikTok talking about, I don't know why it's so hard out here. You had something good, but you called it evil. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil. You know, once you, this is the importance of a set-apart man truly being on the assignment, not getting distracted and derailed. Because the minute you try to jump out the boat, I want you to think, if somebody's throwing a life float, they're in the boat and they're throwing a life float that's hooked to a rope, you know, you would think the person want to be saved. You know, they would grab it and follow the instructions. But no, that's not what you're getting. You're giving her instructions as you provide, protect, and you're the spiritual covering for her. And she's tugging at the rope, trying to get you into the water, get you out of the boat. Man, you got to stay on the assignment. A lot of them are lost causes. And they really don't want deliverance until it gets painful outside of the union of marriage when they've lost something. 10 years later, they come back and rebound. Hey, you know, I was just I was just so rebellious and I'm sorry I put you through all that. And what they're really saying is, man, it took me 10 years to realize that I was thinking backwards the whole time. And oftentimes, if they don't go through a spiritual deliverance process, a renewal of their mind, if they're not born again, you'll be a fool and think that you're going to be able to rekindle something. But think about the point where you left off. You was going forward, she was going backwards spiritually. That's what you're rekindling all over again. It's not worth it, man. It's a lost cause. You're jumping out of safety to save a woman who don't want to be saved. You think about Project Pat 36 Mafia. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. And here's the thing. When you realize the spiritual warfare that you're dealing with in your marriage, when it comes to this, man, you can pray for her, all of this, but if she really doesn't want it herself, man, you gotta let that sink ship. You gotta let her self-destruct. There's for all of us, man, there's a point where we all get humble, and a set apart man has reached that point to where he now faces towards the east, faces to the Most High Yah, is obedient to the Most High Yah. You know the importance of what the Most High Yah has called good. You know the righteousness in it. You're dealing with somebody that you're not going to be equally yoked to because she's been spiritually turned out by another. She loves idolatry. She loves lawlessness. She loves unfaithfulness to not only you, she'll find herself justified in being unfaithful to you, the Most High Yah. She'll try to justify herself in her strong delusion of why, righteousness does not apply to her. She'll be the exception. No, the backwards way of thinking is she wants everybody to be accountable around her while she chooses to be unaccountable. It's a backwards way of thinking. Most men struggle at this because they're trying to figure out, and what they do is make the mistake of trying to go above and beyond for her when this is a woman that clearly doesn't deserve it. You have to put her away, just like the Most High Yah divorced Israel in Jeremiah. Divorced Israel and Judah and called himself a husband unto them. She played the harlot with other nations. She went and got turned out on every high mountain and under every green tree. Man, you got to pay attention to this, because this stuff, when you look at your woman's screen time and she got 3-4 hours of screen time of watching TikTok, watching social media, but she won't get in there and cook you a meal. She don't want to homeschool and rear these children. She don't want to fulfill the functions of a wife. She don't want to give you conjugal rights. The reason she don't want to give you conjugal rights because she's not attracted to the righteousness of sex and marriage. She's attracted to all of these women that's out there popping their thought pocket. She's watching their videos and sitting up thinking, oh man, I want to live their life. Oh, they seem like they're having so much fun and so much pleasure. She's not attracted to righteousness. She's attracted to lawlessness because she didn't got spiritually turned out. You got to think, man, what made Cassie attracted to Diddy, and this man is lawless? It's the spirit in her. She had been turned out. You think about R. Kelly, what will make a father and a mother allow their daughter to be whored off to a man that's a sexual deviant? Think about this. She's turned out, man. She's a straight freak, spiritually. And there ain't nothing you can do as a man other than pray for her or put her away. And when you pray for her, you better hope that she turns to the Most High Yah. Because if she don't, she's gonna fight it tooth and nail. She's gonna end up being the victim. He was in there trying to spiritually abuse me, pray for me, lay hands on me, and I just felt so abused. And she's gonna make herself be the victim out of that scenario. You gotta understand, women will play around. A lot of wives will play around in the most lawless places, and then when they get raped and get taken advantage of spiritually and physically, what do? I'm a victim. Aisha Curry is running from a stable environment. I would recommend, for men, when your woman has been spiritually turned out and you're seeing the evidence show through her actions, stop putting seed in her, because it's only going to make it worse. It's only going to make it more painful for you. The child is not going to deliver her. Healing is not going to come from that child. This will be the first woman to get out there. You got to think about what's that lady's good, Tia Mowry. Same thing. Left for good. We're seeing this at an abundance. And this is happening, although I'm using people that man, it's happening behind the scenes. You're seeing this stuff manifest in your own marriage. You can't get her to cook 2 or 3 days out the week. She's talking about she's tired Rather than having a good work ethic domestically, she wants to go off and give her value to somebody else, some other employer, instead of being gainfully employed, like Genesis 3:16, and your desire shall be to your husband. This is the reason why she doesn't want to fulfill it. She's been turned out. She's been freaked out. I want you to think about it. When you think about spiritual whoredoms, this is what you're looking at. I guarantee you she's not a virgin. I guarantee you she has friends that don't fear the Most High Yah and keep the commandments, and they're promoting all kind of lawlessness, and she is influenced by it. Influenced just like Eve was in the garden by entertaining the will of another, i.e. the serpent, instead of following the instructions of Adam, not eating from the tree. Once again, this is the Set Apart Man, kicking that thing gun barrel straight. Until next time, stay set apart, stay disciplined, and stay in the word of Yah. Bow.